I always knew something was a little different about the way Mark looked at me. It wasn't anything I could point to right away, but after my mom married him when I was 15, I started to feel this lingering tension. He never crossed the line or said anything inappropriate, at least not at first. But there was a look, one of those heavy, lingering stares that you can feel in your bones. I chalked it up to paranoia. Maybe I was just being dramatic. Or maybe I wasn't ready to accept someone new in our lives after my dad passed away. My mum, Laura, met Mark at the pharmacy where she worked. He was charming, well-spoken, and had this calm presence that seemed to ground her. She said he made her feel safe again. After everything we'd been through, losing my dad, I couldn't blame her for needing stability. Mark had a good job at a home improvement store and always had a solution to every little problem in the house. At first, I thought he was the kind of man anyone would want as a stepdad. But that changed the closer I got to 18. It started out simple. Mark started taking more interest in my hobbies, asking about the books I read, complimenting my outfits, even offering to drive me to and from my after-school job at the diner. My mum said he was just trying to be involved, but it felt too intense. Every time I told him thanks but no thanks, he seemed disappointed, like I'd hurt his feelings. He had a way of making me feel guilty for not accepting his help. Then came my birthday. I turned 18 in April. My mum planned a small get-together with a few of my close friends and baked me a red velvet cake, my favourite. We had balloons, music, and a few silly games in the backyard. Everything felt normal. But Mark kept watching me from the patio, a slight smile on his face, like he was waiting for something. When the party ended and I was getting ready for bed, I found a small envelope under my door. It read, "Meet me in the garage. I have your real gift. M." I hesitated. I didn't want to go, but curiosity got the best of me. Maybe it was something innocent. Maybe he'd just been working on a surprise for me and wanted it to be special. Still, I tiptoed downstairs, making sure my mum was asleep before slipping into the garage. The overhead light buzzed as I stepped in. Mark was standing by the workbench, holding a small box. When he turned around, he smiled like he'd been waiting for this moment for a long time. "I've been fixing something up for you," he said. "I wanted you to have some freedom now that you're an adult." He handed me the box. Inside were a set of car keys. I froze. "It's parked outside," he said, grinning. "It's not brand new, but I fixed it up. Should run great. Happy birthday, sweetheart." I didn't know what to say. A car, that was huge. Too huge. I was grateful, but also a little uncomfortable. Why had he done something this big without telling my mom? I, thank you, I said. "But does Mom know?" Mark waved it off. "She'll find out. I wanted it to be between you and me first. A little secret. You know, something special." That word, secret, sent a shiver down my spine. I nodded awkwardly and turned to leave, but before I reached the door, he called out. "There's just one thing I ask in return," he said. I turned back. "What?" "Loyalty," he said, his tone dropping. "Just be honest with me. No secrets from me either. That's all." I nodded again, too confused to respond properly, and went back to my room. The car sat in the driveway the next morning, clean and polished. My mum seemed surprised but not angry. Mark told her it was his way of giving me a head start in life. She hugged him, and he looked over her shoulder straight at me like we had some kind of bond now. Over the next few weeks, things got weirder. Mark started texting me constantly, asking if I was okay, what time I'd be home, if I needed anything. At first, I appreciated the support, but soon the texts got more frequent and oddly personal. "You looked beautiful today," one read. Another, "I noticed you didn't wear the bracelet I got you." I hadn't even told my mom about the bracelet. I tried to pull back politely at first. I stopped responding to the texts unless it was important, but when I did that, he started showing up at my job, just standing in the parking lot. He said he was checking on me. "It's not safe for a young woman to walk out alone at night," he told me. My manager even noticed. Is that guy your dad or something? He asked one night. Stepdad, I muttered. Yeah, he's just overprotective. Things came to a head when I found the small camera in my room. It was hidden behind a decorative plant on my dresser. At first, I thought it was just a weird reflection, but when I picked it up, I saw the tiny lens. My heart raced. I looked around my room, suddenly seeing everything differently. My privacy, my safety. It had been invaded, violated. I didn't wait. I ran downstairs and confronted him. What is this? I demanded, holding the device in my hand. Mark barely blinked. I was worried about you, he said calmly. I needed to make sure you were safe. You have no idea what dangers are out there. You think you're not the danger here? I snapped. This is insane, Mark. He stepped toward me, but I backed away. Don't you get it? He said, his voice suddenly rising. I've been the only one looking out for you. I give, and all I ask is for you to trust me. Trust you, I interrupted. You've been watching me without my consent. You think that's love? That's obsession? My mum came into the room then, drawn by the yelling. What's going on? She asked, clearly alarmed. I turned to her, tears welling up in my eyes. He put a camera in my room. She looked at Mark. Is that true? He didn't answer. I handed her the camera. She went pale. That night we packed our bags and left. My mom drove us to her sister's place across town. She was quiet most of the drive. I think she was in shock. I was too. But mostly I was angry. Angry that I hadn't spoken up sooner. Angry that I'd let my guard down. A few days later, my mom filed a police report. An investigation opened. They found more cameras, one in the guest bathroom, one in the hallway near my room. Mark was arrested. We found out later that he had done something similar in a previous relationship, though it had never been fully reported. I never went back to that house. We stayed with my aunt until my mom could find a new place. It took time to rebuild trust, to feel safe in a room with a closed door. But we made it through. My mom never blamed me and I never blamed her. She had been manipulated just like I had. Sometimes I still think about that night, how it could have gone differently if I'd stayed quiet, if I hadn't found the camera, if I had believed his lies. But I didn't. I couldn't believe what my stepdad did, but I refused to let it define me. I stood up, I spoke out, and I walked away, with my dignity intact.